Hey Paul, Simon here from Little Big Marketing San Diego. I am the co-owner of Little Big Marketing with my wife, and I like to, lead into these kind of inquiries with a quick video just to tell you a little bit about the way I like to work with people, but also give you a chance to gain a ton of free information specific to your business. I'm going to perform a quick audit here alongside a competitor analysis or comparison so that you can see some ideas that you may want to implement yourself. I get a lot of people that just want to pick my brain, and I'm more than happy to do that. So I'm just going to shoot you this video, and then the other thing you get from that is you're going to see what I know what I'm talking about, and hopefully that gives you comfort that if we do decide to work together, you'll know that. The other reason I like to do this is because I'm extremely selective with who I work with. I've been doing this for a while, so I'm not exactly driven by money. So I like to find people that I really want to work with to help them grow their business. So I just want you to know that once you've kind of seen this and watch the video and understand, yep, knows what he's talking about, would like to proceed, we'll go to another meeting where we have what's called a discovery call. I'll get your goals, target services, your most profitable services, if you like, locations that you want to target, and then I'll do a ton of research to make sure that I can deliver the results that I promise. And then we'll sit down once again to so I can show you what I found, but then also decide if ultimately we want to pursue a working relationship. And again, I do like to establish proper long-term relationships, but I don't do contracts, which I know a lot of other companies do. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much here. I'm going to jump straight in. So I'm just looking at your website here, and there's a few things that you could definitely make use of if you wanted to try and generate some of your own leads. Number one, just going after San Diego as a whole can be difficult. You're competing with some very big companies, which we'll look at in a second, that have pages all over the country in some cases. And they're very well trusted websites. So sometimes it's better to hyper target local areas. I'm not sure what your address is. I've got your Google business pulled up here. I'll look at it in a second, but you may want to add a page to your website that is your home neighborhood, your home location, and kind of start there and branch out to grow, because there's a lot less hyper local competition at those levels. So typing in something like junk removal San Diego as opposed to junk removal Chula Vista, National City, Poway, Oceanside, whatever. So I hope that makes sense. Number two, and I'm going to compare this with your competitors. Number two is content on your page. So Google usually likes to see around 1,500 to 2,000 words on a homepage so that it knows that you're an authority on the subject. It also allows you to get in those keywords, those terms that people search Google for, so that Google essentially knows that's what you offer, and when someone types it in, it can very easily link the two together. So I see you've got some keywords throughout your page, and you've mentioned all your services here. That's great. Now what you want to do is add content to back up the fact that you're an expert in this field. That's all it really is. And the cool thing is, just looking at that this junk removal San Diego here, you'll see I've picked your two top competitors from the organic section here. We've got Junk King and Fred's Junk Removal. You probably know of them. But this here is one of those location pages that I was talking about, that you might want to add as a hyperlocal, but their location page is San Diego, and that's how you kind of know they're a big company. But if I look at their website here, they've got a fair amount of content. I'm not going to count the words or put it into a word counter, but you can see here they're sort of making themselves look like an expert in the field, and they've got the testimonials, things like that prop that up, and Google believes that stuff, and this is obviously for SEO. Okay, and then Fred's Junk Removal, for each of these services, he's got a little bit of just words that kind of make him more authoritative. Sorry, just back it up there. But otherwise, not a huge competitor. All right, the next thing I want to show you is we've typed in SD Junk Pros, right? And I wanted to show you just kind of what is brought up when I do that. So we've got this is your Google Business Knowledge panel. And I like that you post a little bit here. Posting's a great way to, be relevant to an industry because you're always adding those keywords in, right? Just looking at all this looks fine. There's definitely some optimizations you could do here. This logo doesn't quite fit. Things like that Google does pay attention to. You've got a very large service area. Now, I understand you actually service those areas, but are you actually gaining leads from those areas, way out here with your Google business? Very unlikely. So it sometimes can confuse Google a little bit when, you're trying to cover such a large area with a tool used for, more hyper-local business. That's Google business. I can see here that your Facebook's been linked up. That's an automatic thing by Google, but it usually means that your Facebook is used, optimized, has images, maybe some engagement from the public, whatever. So that's good. And the other thing is your page, this page here using your name is pretty well, other than Scrap Monster. I see that's your LinkedIn, your MapQuest, like this whole page is pretty much all your results, which is good. You definitely want to see that. Okay, and then moving on from here, I typed in junk removal San Diego. Okay, a couple of things I wanted to point out. You spoke about Google Ads. So these are Google guaranteed ads, and this is something that if we did choose to work together, I would definitely recommend. These can generate very, very, very cost-effective leads, and a lot of them in certain circumstances. So I would definitely look at incorporating those potentially in with a pay-per-click campaign. So these are pay-per-leads. Pay-per-lead. This down here where it says ad is pay-per-click. I don't know if you knew that, but back here I noticed that when I typed in your name, you are showing up for your own name, which is as an ad for your own name. So you would pay for this if I clicked on this, and it's showing your About Us page. Now, it's very unlikely that if someone was typing in your name because they wanted to, your business name because they want to use you as, for their service, like they're typing in your brand, so they obviously want something from you. And then if you put an ad in there that's kind of about us, they're going to be like, well, I already know about you, I'm typing in your name. So this could cost you a little bit of money for no reason. And the only reason I kind of bring this up is because there may be other instances where this is happening in your campaign that's, that the search doesn't match, the search intent doesn't match what's being shown here. I guess that's my point. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And the fact that these are pay-per-click and the Google guaranteed can offer really, really good return. Now, so that's all I really wanted to say about ads. Now, if we take a look at those top competitors again, I'm going to look at the back end of their site here. So we've got the Junk King. I've got a tool here called Ahrefs, and what it does is gives me a lot of estimate numbers, but it also performs crawls on website and searches what is essentially helping to rank them on Google. So here, the main thing I want to point out is what's called backlinks and referring domains. A backlink is any link from one website to another that when you click on that link, it's hyperlink text or a button or whatever, and when you click on it, it takes you to another website. That's called a backlink. And it's the backlink that where you click on the backlink is called a referring domain. And these referring domains act as an endorsement to your website. And all that Google really is a big popularity contest. So every time someone sends you a backlink, it's like an endorsement of your website, and Google takes that as a little bit of trust. So if you've got more of these backlinks than the next guy, of equal value, because they aren't all valued equally, more or the same amount of higher value, then you will likely outrank that competitor. So what I like to do is come in here and take a look at exactly what referring domains these guys have and get the same and then add a whole bunch of better ones. So right here I can see this guy is absolutely spamming what's called press releases. Okay, so we've got news, world, magazine, reader. You know, I can tell. I've been doing this for a while, so these are all what's called press releases. Quite low value, but they're helping him stick at the top here. So, you know, in knowing that they've helped rank him, I would be using press releases myself. That's just an insight into my strategy. So, just going back to this overview here, looks like it's freezing up on me a little bit. So, I mean, you can see there, 237 referring domains. So if we compare that to we're looking at 20. You know, you've got some catching up to do to rank in San Diego, for the term San Diego. Okay? Fred's junk removal. Backlinks, 134. Okay, so again, a little bit of work to do to catch up. You can jump in here and look at those referring domains to try and get the same ones, or, you know, again, better. But you can see there that this guy's ranking for 1,300 of those keywords, right? They may not all be relevant, but he is generating, and this is an estimate, over 1,000 clicks per month. So 1,000 clicks per month, I mean, that's quite a lot, because generally you're going to convert on your website, you know, anywhere from sort of 20 to 30%, 10 to 30%. So if you're converting at the higher end of 30%, you're looking at 300 phone calls from, you know, being at the top of Google here. So that's a heck of a lot of calls, right? I mean, 10 a day. And if these were, you know, slightly higher, well, actually, if we look at, what was it, Junk King, we can see he's nearly getting 2,000 clicks. In actual fact, this is usually more. This tool sort of downplays the estimate based on its algorithm, but in reality, this is often a lot higher. I've seen it be 10 times higher in reality. So they could be getting, you know, 10,000 clicks and then 3,000 calls. No joke. That's how valuable this can be in a city like San Diego. Okay, so but it takes time to get there. So that's kind of, you know, one thing was like a hyper local page on your website. Number two being add some content, maybe some more images to your website to seem authoritative. Number three, we would be going after, you know, some of the backlinks that these guys have and referring domains. Okay. The third thing, or the fourth thing, is when we type in junk removal San Diego, we want to be in the map pack. Okay. Now this is difficult depending on where your business address is actually located, but at the same time, the rule stands the same. We use what's called citations. A citation is basically anywhere your business name, your brand is seen on the web, where its business name, address, and phone number are consistent with your Google My Business account. So you can see there that, you know, business name, number, and if they had an address, but this one's Carlsbad, as long as these, you know, these citations on the web are consistent, and we have more of them than these top competitors, then we are a larger presence online. So we're trying to grow our presence by branding everything that we put online. Okay, and we're creating citations, and that can be in blogs, in, you know, any kinds of articles, those press releases. Everything's going to contain that citation of your brand. So we want to get as many of those as we can, and some of the ones you might be familiar with are Yelp, Home Advisor, TripAdvisor, you know, Expedia, is it Expedia? Expertise, Angie's List. Like, there's hundreds of them, and you know, if you have more than the next guy, then generally you're going to show in this map pack here, and this generates an awful lot of leads. Okay, so I think they're the main things that I wanted to sort of talk about. Go out and try and get the same citations as this guy. And how do we do that? We grab his business name and let's search for it, right? And we can see he has Yelp, Home Advisor, Facebook, DTSC, right? It's a government website. It's very highly valued. So if you could get on there as well, you may not be able to, but you get something else in its place. Pinterest, MapQuest. Okay, these are all just citations. Angie's, YouTube, Triple B, or citations in social medias, Yellow Pages. So as long as you're kind of trying to follow them along, eventually you will likely catch them. So that's kind of the idea anyway. So I hope this helps, and that I didn't just talk your ear off for no reason. I just genuinely want you to have a good understanding of what it is that I do, so that it makes it easier to work together, and we can essentially align this strategy with your sales. And that way I find works the best. So if you do like this video, reach out and we can set up a meeting to get to know each other a little bit better, but also go over those goals and targets that you want to hit. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon.